Sid Miller is Agriculture Commissioner for the state of Texas. Welcome to EarthX, Mr. Miller.
It's good to be up with you today. Thank you very much.
It's a good day, and you have a beautiful biography, and I was happy to read about that. And I read that you were a rodeo champion.
Yes, sir.
That must have been a few days ago.
Well, no, that was last week. I'll be competing tomorrow, actually.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
But also a farmer. And I see the relationship between the agriculture commissioner and the farmer. So, now, of course, we're at a venue now where the earth is central. So what is it that you can do for the farmer that you know who that is, because you are the farmer yourself, that is important when we think about the future of the planet?
Well, you know, it's first of all, it's a statewide elected position. I'm one of the few people that has to have a conflict of interest to serve in this position. You have to be involved in farming to be eligible to run for Texas Agriculture Commission.
And therefore you have an inbuilt conflict of interest. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So I'm a 8th generation farmer and rancher. I still make my living off the land in Stephenville, Texas. I have cattle and horses and grow various crops, hemp, hay, you know, just all kinds of stuff. In agriculture, you have to do a lot of things to make a living because it doesn't all work every year, right?
Yeah.
You do 8 or 10 things, hope 1 or 2 of them makes money. So that's the nature of agriculture. So we're risk takers, and as agriculture commissioner, I get to head up the state agriculture agency, and of course we're all about cows, sows, plows, everything agriculture. But we are a lot more than that. I oversee a $7 billion agency. My agency is a budget larger than the budget of 37 governors. So it's not a small agency. We have our hands in a lot of things.
So, but you know farming so well, for generations even, right?
Yeah.
So has farming changed because of, for instance, the weather that we're facing?
Well, I'd like to say we're in agriculture 3.0. Agriculture 1.0 was subsistence farming. It was 40 acres and a mule, you know, and you farmed to survive. You know, there were no grocery stores. 95% of the people in the country was
eating
founded,
their own things. Yeah.
Yeah, you either grew it or kill it, or you didn't eat it. You know, you didn't eat. So we moved on from that, what I call agriculture 2.0, which is the age of mechanization. So from that we had tractors and combines, and all of a sudden, instead of farming 40 acres, one farmer could farm a whole section by itself. And then that advanced, and it advanced and advanced. But now we're at a new crossroads, what I call agriculture 3.0, and that's the age of technology. You know, when a picture of a farmer comes to most people's mind, it's a guy with a straw hat and bib overalls, he's chewing on a piece of straw, right?
Yeah.
No, that farmer now is behind a computer, and he's looking at GPS markings of his field.
Is that what I'll be seeing you doing tomorrow?
Yeah.
Sitting behind a computer.
That's right. So, you know, we're at the age now where cows walk in the milking parlor and milk themselves. We don't even need a milk hand in the milking parlor. We have tractors that drive themselves. I was planting corn 2 weeks ago. The only thing I had to do was turn the tractor around, raise and lower the planter, and the tractor drove itself. You know, 16 rows of corn, perfectly straight. I never touched the steering wheel. You know, it was all driven by GPS coordinates. And we have unmanned drones that spray our fields, and they will pinpoint one weed and just kill one weed. So we're using about 10% of the pesticides we used to use. So everything has gotten so much more advanced, and it's really helped the environment, you know, to use less chemicals.
Of course.
We use less fossil fuels. So with this new technology age, we're able to produce more with less, and that's the constant challenge in agriculture, is we have to produce more with less inputs.
I can see that challenge, but I'm also wondering, you know, these seem to be major investments for farmers in that technology, self-driving tractors, the computers, GPS systems. I mean, that doesn't come for free.
No, but we're able to double our production through technology, where you know we now can precisely plant corn seed 9 inches apart, exactly 3/4 of an inch deep. There's no more overplanting, so we don't waste seed. We don't waste chemicals anymore. We don't over fertilize. We don't over treat. So it's so much more precise. We actually end up saving money. The technology pays for itself.
So sustainability, if you like, comes from the advance in technology.
Well, it does. And through technology, we now know that we can have better profits through less inputs by going from conventional farming, which takes about 5 gallons of diesel fuel per acre. We can move from that to no-till farming or minimal till farming, and we burn about 1 gallon of diesel fuel per acre. So what other industry can say we reduced our use of fossil fuels 80%? And farmers, we don't tell our story. We're not very good about telling our good. We have a great story to tell.
Yes.
We've reduced our fossil fuels 80%. We've reduced pesticides by 60%. We've reduced our commercial fertilizers by 40%. We don't turn the soil over, so we're not releasing hydrocarbons in the atmosphere anymore. You know, when we don't till the soil, we don't kill microbes.
No.
Turning the soil kills
that's
microbes.
important.
So we're saving the microbes. It's just a better system. And through that, it's very sustainable. I don't know any other industry that can claim all the wonderful benefits that modern farming through technology, Agriculture 3.0, has provided the planet.
So, as a commissioner, what can you do to support this in itself very positive trend?
Well, of course, we do a lot of things. One is we provide research dollars to universities for new technology, for new genetics, better use of our forages, better uses of our grains with our animals, better and higher yields with our crops. So we do that. One of the main things we do is market. We can grow all these wonderful crops, but if we don't have a place to sell it, doesn't do us much good, right?
No.
So we travel the world. I have a global outreach initiative where we go all over the world marketing Texas agriculture products.
What is that? What can Texas bring to the world? What is that?
Well, for instance, this last week, one of my ambassadors made a deal with Lebanon to supply the Lebanese army with 50 tons of beef, Texas beef, every month. So that's a new market for our Texas beef that we didn't have. Last week we met with the United Arab Emirates, the consulate in Houston. So they want us to come in September. They want to buy Texas products. We also met with the Saudi Arabia consulate, and we're actually going to take a trip to Saudi in September. They need a lot of products in the Middle East. We haven't really tapped that market, so it'd be a great outlet for us. We'll be first to market with Texas products in that region of the world.
So, as a farmer, you went through this, this evolvement of agriculture 3.0, as you call it. Do you remember a moment you thought, well, this is really great, and that was whatever new technology that was?
Not really. It was always exciting. I didn't always understand how GPS mapping and all that worked, but now I understand how to use it, so it doesn't matter if I understand it or not. As long as it works,
fair enough.
And it helps the bottom line. Some other scientists and engineers can figure all that out, not my job. My job is to implement it as a farmer, and my job as the agriculture commissioner is to relay that information, get it out to the public, make that available to our farmers, and we do a good job of that. We have a really good team of about 700 people that help us get our slogan is Texas Agriculture Matters. So that's the message we carry out.
Is there any coordination within the United States where Texas is part of other developments in other states?
Sure, yeah. There's a national organization called the National Association of State Departments of Agriculture. We have a winter meeting and we have a summer meeting where we get together, we exchange ideas, we work on policy like the Farm Bill, things like that. We have great influence on that. We had great influence over the USMCA agreement, the new Tri-National Agriculture Accord. We serve on that. So we have other, like a Southern Trade Association, we're members of that. 18 southern states, we band together as a unit, and we take trade missions, and we take our corporate sponsors, and we take them to trade shows around the globe. We also sponsor incoming trade missions from buyers from other countries. We take them around and show them pecans or beef or whatever it is they're interested in, and we set up the relationship between the buyers and sellers and buyers, and we're pretty good at that, actually. Very good.
Yes, that's good to know. And what does inspire you on this journey?
Well, I just my whole life has been around agriculture, and my family's in it. Everybody said, "Well, when are you going to retire?" I said, "Well, I guess I am retired. I'm doing exactly what I want. Isn't that retirement?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I just love what I do. I get up. Every day is different. There is no routine. I don't have well, how often are you in Austin? Well, it depends. I might not be there this week at all. I may be in Germany, or I may be in Washington, D.C. for a week. Who knows? So it's every day's different. Every day's a challenge. Every day's exciting. And I just love what I do.
And so back to, I mean, there are lots of people in the world, of course. There's a big environmental movement that thinks we need to do much more for the planet than we have done so far. I'm sure you meet those people. What you tell them?
Well, I would tell them that there's no better steward of the land than the farmer and rancher. I mean, most of us are generational, more than one generation on that farm. And after a period of those generations, I don't know how to explain it, but I'll try. It's like you don't own the land anymore. The land owns you.
Yeah.
You're part of it.
Yes.
And so it's passed down from generation to generation. And I say that to set the next statement up. So our main goal, it doesn't matter if I'm talking to a dairyman in upstate New York, or an apple grower in Washington State, or somebody growing wine in California, or a Texas rancher. They all have the same goal. I said, "What is your ultimate goal here?" He said, "Well, my goal is to leave my farm in better shape to my children and my grandchildren than when I found it." And that's universal.
Yes.
So that makes for a good steward of the land, because
Yeah.
you're always looking out after the land. You're trying to make it a better place to leave to the next generation.
And that in itself is sustainability.
That's it. That's the pure that's as pure sustainability as you can get. If you ever come to my office,
Yeah.
it's a very unusual office. It's hard to explain, but I have a lot of unusual items. So in my office, I have a 7-foot Comanche headdress
Yes.
by my desk. And people have said, "Wow, that's beautiful. What
Why that?
What are you doing with that? Who has a Comanche headdress in in a government office?"
Yeah.
I said, "Well, there's a purpose behind that." That's, "Well, what is it?" I said, "Well, reminds me that the Comanche Nation was the original agriculture department long before we got here. And the Comanches understood sustainability long before it was a buzzword.
Yeah.
So we can look at our ancestors, we can look at those that come before us, and we can glean and learn, even from the Comanches, how they took care of the land, how they managed the buffalo, how they managed the grasses on the prairies.
Yeah.
And so that grounds me on my job as the state farm boss, and what my job here is to make sure that the land is taken care of, much like the Comanches ruled over the plains when their time was, they were the agriculture department.
Yes. And they had to make sure that their buffalo were available.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful because you really put sustainability in a much wider perspective, historic perspective, and as it should be. I agree with you. I mean, it is not just a debate between activists and politicians. It is more so. Yeah, it is in the hands of the people who actually work the land.
We're all in this together, right?
Yeah.
This generation, future generations, whether you live in the city or you live on a farm, we're all in it together.
Yeah.
When our nation was founded, 95% of the people, maybe more, were farmers. Because if you didn't grow it or kill it, you didn't eat.
No.
There was no grocery store. I mean, you canned it, you put it in the smokehouse, you cured it, you sugar cured it, salt pork, or whatever.
Yeah.
And you provided, it was sustainability at its basic level. Today, that number is less than 2%.
Yeah.
About 1.5% of the population feeds the rest of us, because we're all doing something different.
Yeah.
So the American farmer we've always been known as the breadbasket of the world. We grow enough to feed our own people, and a lot of other people too depend on us. We've slipped as of late, and that is now reversed. A lot of people don't know this, but we're no longer food secure in America. Mm-hmm. We're going to purchase $50 billion more agriculture products than we export this year. First time that's ever happened in my lifetime. That's something that we immediately have to correct, mm-hmm. because we can't be dependent on some foreign power to feed and clothe us.
No.
Our freedoms are at risk. They control you. If they control your food,
no.
If they control your clothes, your housing. So we've got to get on top of that immediately. I mean immediately, and correct that, and get back to being the country we once were, where we are the breadbasket of the world.
So you're obviously a man who works with passion, but is there a particular inspiration that you have? What drives you?
I just get up every day and love that God's put me in this position. It's something I thrive on. I think I'm good at it. People tell me I'm good at it. My goal is to be the best agriculture commissioner Texas has ever had. But when I'm gone, whoever follows me, they need to be better than me, because that's what farmers deserve. That's what the people of Texas deserve.
So what's your next goal?
My next goal is to make it till tomorrow, I guess. Same as all of us.
Thank you, Sid.